Today, we're diving into a massive story unfolding in South Asia. It's a place where geopolitics, history, and, well, geography are all colliding in a really big way. A decision that's been decades in the making is about to literally change the course of a river and maybe even the relationship between two nuclear-armed neighbors.
So let's just get right to it. The main event is this. India is getting ready to completely, and I mean completely, stop the flow of the Ravi River into Pakistan. We're not talking about reducing it a little bit, we're talking about turning off the tap. This is a huge move with even bigger consequences.
And right away, that probably brings up two massive questions in your mind. First, how can a country just stop a river from flowing into another? Is that even allowed? And second, if they could do this, why now? Why after more than 70 years of the status quo? To get those answers, we've got to go back in time. To really understand what's happening today, we need to look at the rule book, the one document that has governed these waters for over 60 years, the Indus Water Treaty.
Now, what is absolutely incredible about this treaty is just how tough it is. It was signed way back in 1960, with the World Bank helping to broker the deal. And get this, it has survived 3 major wars between India and Pakistan. It's seen all kinds of political turmoil, yet it's held firm. It's honestly one of the most resilient water-sharing agreements on the planet.
So the secret sauce of the treaty is how it works. It's actually pretty simple. It takes the 6 rivers of the Indus Basin and splits them into 2 neat groups. The western rivers, that's the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab, those were allocated to Pakistan. But the eastern rivers, the Ravi, Beas, and Sutlej, were given to India for its exclusive use. And boom, right there in that first column, there's our river, the Ravi. Legally, its waters belong to India. Okay, so if India has had the rights to the Ravi's water this whole time, what changed? What's the trigger? Well, the answer isn't some new law or change in policy. It's a massive piece of concrete and steel, the Shahpur Kandi Dam. You know, this dam story is really a lesson in patience. It was first thought up way back in 1979. They even laid a foundation stone for it in 1982. But then, for decades, pretty much nothing happened. It just stalled, mostly because of disputes within India. It's only in the last few years that the whole project got a new lease on life, was put on the fast track, and now it's about to be finished.
So why build it? Well, the purpose is really threefold. First, and this is the big one, it's to provide desperately needed water for irrigation in the Indian regions of Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. Second, it's to generate clean hydropower. And third, it's to finally, after all these years, fully use the water that belongs to India under the treaty, instead of just letting it flow downstream to Pakistan.
And the benefits for India are going to be substantial. This dam is set to irrigate a massive 32,000 hectares of land just in the Kathua and Samba districts of Jammu and Kashmir. For the farmers and the local economy there, that is a total game changer.
And then there's the energy. It's not just about water for crops. The dam is also a power plant, set to generate 206 megawatts of hydropower. That's a pretty significant boost to the region's electricity supply.
But you know, this project is so much more than just concrete and turbines. Its completion marks a really fundamental shift in how India thinks about its most precious resource, water.
This is the key strategic change right here. For decades, India's policy was basically what you could call passive allowance. They didn't have the infrastructure to capture all their water, so whatever they didn't use just flowed across the border. But now, the new strategy is active utilization. It's a clear, deliberate plan to harness every single drop of water that the treaty says is theirs.
So, we've covered the how and why from the Indian side. But for every action, there's a reaction, right? So now we have to flip the coin and look at what this means for the country downstream, Pakistan. To really get just how serious this is for Pakistan, you have to look at this chart. A staggering 80% of its entire agricultural output depends on irrigation from the Indus River system. Its food security, its economy, it's all fundamentally tied to the water flowing in these rivers.
So the immediate result is going to be immense agricultural stress. Pakistan's Punjab province, which is basically its breadbasket, is going to be hit the hardest. Farmers there will have to pump even more groundwater from sources that are already running low, and the most likely result is a big drop in how much food they can grow. This is a direct challenge to the country's food supply.
And this goes way beyond the farms. It pours fuel on an already burning national water security crisis. Pakistan's water availability per person has been dropping for years. Now, diplomatically, you can bet they're going to protest this loudly on the world stage. But here's the tough part for them, legally. Because the Ravi's an eastern river, under that 1960 treaty, their argument, well, it holds very little water, so to speak.
But the impacts aren't just political or economic. Anytime you fundamentally change the course of a major river, you have to ask the big question: what does this do to the environment itself?
And the environmental story here really is a tale of two sides. For India, the upsides seem clear: more efficient irrigation, less water being wasted, and a better ability to manage droughts. But for the wider regional ecosystem, there are some serious risks. When you reduce the water flow downstream, you impact the entire river ecosystem across the border, and you can even change how sediment is deposited, which can have all sorts of unpredictable consequences down the line.
Ultimately, the story of the Ravi River and the Shahpur Kandi Dam is more than just a local dispute. It's about a decades-old treaty meeting modern engineering and very tense politics. But it also points to a much, much bigger global question that all of us are going to have to face sooner or later. And it leaves us with this final thought. In a warming world where water is getting scarcer by the day, is water about to become the new oil?